The following is a sponsored program paid for by Yaba TV.
Welcome to our beautiful show, the Yaba TV show. I am your host, Sia. Today is a one-on-one special with attorney Margot Boucher. Well, if you or someone you know has been looking for an attorney to have an advice or idea of what's going on in your family, whether you're planning to divorce or you have already divorced or you're going through child custody battles, you and I know attorneys cost a lot of money on a regular basis. But today, you get to hear all of this information for free on Yaba TV. It's up to you to call attorney Margot Boucher to connect with her. But I do want to guarantee you one thing: the information is so valuable that you can't get this anywhere else for free. So today, you are in for a very special treat. Tell all your friends, your neighbors, and everybody you know about our beautiful show, the Yaba TV show. We'll be back in a moment. Hey. Welcome back to our beautiful show, the Yaba TV show. I am your host, Sia. Today is a one-on-one special with attorney Margot Boucher. Attorney Margot Boucher, she practices family law and other types of law that you'll get to hear from herself when I do speak with her today. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors, just relax, get orange juice, water, popcorn, whatever that is going to make you relax, so you can watch this show today, because we have a lot of information to share with you today. So at this moment, I want to gladly welcome attorney Margot Boucher. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Sia. I'm so honored to be on your show as a guest. Thank you.
You're welcome. So our viewing audience that are watching the show now, they're probably saying, but who is attorney Margot Boucher?
Well, Margot Boucher is a sole practitioner, a mother, a grandmother, a mother of a judge, which is, I love that, saying that. And I have been practicing in excess of 30 years in the area of family law, as you've indicated. I hail from Bronx, New York, but I haven't been in the Bronx, New York in years. But yet people say to me, are you from the Bronx? Because they hear an accent, which I don't hear.
But you're Angelinos now. I like that.
And I love to say that I'm a Christian, and I praise God for all of my blessings.
Yes, I like that. I mean, it's good to see you stand for your value, and you're not offending anyone, but you just stand for it, which is good in your practice as well.
Because I recognize that my blessings come from the Lord in heaven.
Interesting. So let's talk about what allowed you, what inspired you to choose law career?
Well, it's interesting. I chose law after I became an adult. Although I grew up with my godmother's husband. He wasn't my godfather, but he was my godmother's husband. He was an attorney, and he ultimately became a judge. And I looked upon him as a role model, but as a child, I didn't think about going into the field of law. But after I got married and I had a husband who seemed to always need to hire an attorney for one reason or another, I decided I needed to become a lawyer.
Wow. So have you ever discovered a client that is unreasonable? If so, tell me, how do you handle such clients?
Well, I like to believe that all clients are valuable, but there are occasions when a potential client I find may have unreasonable expectations, and I need to decline representation for that client. Sometimes a client, after they have retained my office, their expectations are not realistic. And in those occasions, if I am unable to convince them to modify their outlook or expectation, then what I have to do is release that client or convince them to find an attorney that will carry out their expectations.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Let's talk about the pandemic. Since the pandemic started, have you noticed that there is an increase in domestic violence and also divorces?
Definitely. The pandemic has caused people to, number one, spend much more time with each other, especially if they're confined to their homes, working from home, or unable to go out to do simple things like shopping. As a result, the incidences of violence have increased exponentially, and the abused is now able to recognize they've got to get out of the situation. Before the pandemic, people who were being in an abused situation, they were not exposed to the abuser for 24 hours a day, every day. Maybe it was 1 or 2 hours in the morning or in the evening, before or after work. But now that everybody's confined to one location, the abuse has escalated, and people are filing more for divorce or for restraining orders.
So what do you think that people should be doing to possibly avoid that?
Well, number one, there are training courses for victims of abuse as well as courses for the abuser. Sometimes the abuser comes from a family of abuse, and they don't know any better, so they need to go into some kind of counseling or training. But the victim of the abuse needs to get a support group that will help the victim extricate themselves from the abuse and or have the courage to stand up and say no or file for a restraining order.
So let's talk about child custody for people that are divorced. I mean, nobody wants to see, well, I don't want to see people divorced, because I believe the growth of family is the will of God. I mean, that's my belief. But divorce do happen, life happens. So fighting for child custody, what should they be doing at this time of pandemic?
Well, first of all, under the law, the court is interested in the best interests of the children. And I personally believe that God intended for each child to have two parents. Now, once again, I recommend counseling, because sometimes when they're fighting over custody, they're losing sight that the best interest of the children is what is of paramount importance. In the courts, there's a program called Parents and Children Together. It's called, I believe it's called PACT, but they provide training and counseling and information for parents so that they will understand that they have to work together. Even if they are divorced, they have to work together to raise
For the interest
children.
of the child.
That's right.
All right. We need to take a quick break to acknowledge our sponsors. But when we come back, we are going to elaborate more on our discussion today. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors that we are coming to you today with one-on-one with Attorney Margot Boucher. So this is something that has to do with the law and you. So don't touch your dial. We'll be back in a moment. You are back with our beautiful show, the Yaba TV show. I am your host, Sia. So before we took a break, we were talking about the interest of a child, seeking the interest of a child. Sometimes when people that are divorced, they are fighting each other, they lose that interest. They only look for their own personal interest, not for the child. And that can be very difficult for that child. So Attorney Margot Boucher is here to demystify that for us. Please continue.
Yes. Well, as I was saying, the courts want both parents to work together. Even though they may not be able to agree on a marriage, they have to agree on how the children are going to be raised, what schools the children will attend, whether or not a child gets a passport to leave the country, whether or not the child gets a driver's license. So there are courses that you can take through the courts or outside of the courts that will help, at least try and help the parties reach a meeting of the minds in the best interest of their children.
You know, I've seen people who are divorced, the children are with them like Monday through Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday, they go to the other half of the parent. But then when it's Saturday and Sunday, that Saturday and Sunday falls like a Christmas or Thanksgiving, a holiday where the other parent wants the child too, then it becomes a little bit of a problem. So let's talk about
Well,
that.
first of all, when parties are going through either a divorce or custody battle, the courts encourage them through mediation to try and reach an agreement as to how they're going to parent their child and when. Now, sometimes there are all types of arrangements. Sometimes it's week on, week off. Sometimes it's Monday through Friday, and the other parent gets alternate weekends or maybe every weekend. They try to have the parties agree. If the parties cannot agree, then the court steps in and makes a ruling as to what the court thinks is in the best interest of their children. The courts try and encourage the parties to equally share holidays. So maybe one year, one parent might have Christmas or Christmas week, and the next year the other parent will have it. Or they'll split the holiday in half. The first half will go to one parent during odd years, and it'll go to the other parent in even years.
Let's talk again about the pandemic. How is your business doing during this pandemic?
I hate to say this. Well, first of all, I'm always looking for new business. But I hate to say this, the pandemic has caused an increase in filing of divorces and custody cases. So my business, praise God, is doing very well.
So if you were to do this differently, would you choose law career again?
I would become a lawyer again and again. I don't believe in reincarnation, but if I had another opportunity to start all over again, I would choose law. First of all, it's an opportunity to give back to the community. It's an opportunity to help people. It's an opportunity to use the education that I received at the Mecca Howard University undergraduate and Howard University School of Law.
Ooh, ain't you?
Go Benson! Yes.
So for someone that is watching the television broadcast today that want to study law, they are in a limbo. They're like, I want to do this, but I'm not sure if I want to do this. Looking at the camera, tell them what is in there for them with law.
Well, first of all, practicing law is an admirable profession. You're helping people as well as making a very comfortable living. You can enter the field of law after getting a high school education or college education. Some people can become lawyers without even going to law school, although I do recommend going to law school. You can train under a licensed attorney for approximately 3 years and qualify to take the California bar examination. But most people should go to law school, and you can use any undergraduate degree as a stepping stone to become a lawyer.
So I know you also had mentioned to me, because we had a dialogue before. You were a guest on my radio show on 94.7 The Wave.
It was wonderful, by the way, and I got a lot of calls.
Oh, great. So let's talk about, I know you're a single parent as well, and a single grandmother. You've graciously raised your family, and you're happy being married. But I know you had mentioned that you don't like to see people divorce. It hurts your heart. And you are also a believer at the same time. So tell me, how do you relate to your clients who are non-believers, and you're telling them, whatever you do, praise God?
Well, number one, I must give praise where praise is due. I recognize that my blessings come from God in heaven. I have encountered people who are non-believers, and I respect everybody's right to believe as they so choose. But as a business person and a Christian, I practice my law as a Christian.
Yes.
And I don't insult anybody by forcing them to believe in my God.
But you declare where you stand.
Yes, yes. As a matter of fact, I recall on 2 occasions, one time an attorney complained to a judge that I ended my letters with "Remember to praise God," and surprisingly but happily, the judge said more attorneys should be like that. So I was so pleased when I heard that, but
Oh, right.
the other attorney really thought I was going to be chastised because I'm practicing my faith.
Look at the camera and tell our audience where they can reach you.
I would like the guest audience to reach me by going to my website and finding out about me and the areas of law that I practice. Go to www.margo BOUCHETLAW.com. That's MargotBoucherLaw.com. Or you may reach me via toll free 888-909-9140.
All right. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. From one woman to another woman, one professional to another professional.
One Christian to another Christian.
That's right. I like that. I do want to thank you so much for coming to the show and sharing with us the law and you, and just in general what people should know about child custody and all of what we've talked about today. I do appreciate your knowledge, and knowledge is power. And the Bible did say, my people perish because of lack of knowledge.
So true. Thank you so much, CSC. It's been an honor. I always watch you and I enjoy your show, and I'm honored to be on it.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. We do need to take another quick break to acknowledge our sponsors, and then we'll take you to the music video, something that you are truly going to treasure, so don't miss it. People have often told me, just when they're having so much fun with the Yaba TV show, time is up. Well, time is up again. But we are on every Sunday at 4 p.m. right here on KCAR9. So tell everybody you know about our show. I encourage you to go to our YouTube channel, Yaba Media. You are going to find so many shows that we've recently added more new shows to our YouTube channel for your viewing pleasures. So promise me one thing. Like, share, and subscribe. That's the only way I know that you're enjoying the show, what we're bringing to you. And also, I do take the time to read the comments that you send to me. That's one way to connect with Sia by sending an email or go to our YouTube channel with a comment. I take the time to read all the comments, and I want to thank those that have taken the time to send me comments. I appreciate it. I enjoy it. And it's my pleasure to be of service to the community, to bring you contemporary African show based on first-hand knowledge, designed to bridge the gap between Africans and African Americans, something that you cannot find just anywhere else on the mainstream media. But till then, we will see you next week at the same time on the Yaba TV show, your contemporary bridge to the motherland, Africa.
The proceeding was a sponsored program paid for by Yaba TV.